Hi, I'm Harry Sullivan. Thanks for joining us here in the WVLT Newsroom. Wanted to give you an update in the search for Summer Wells. She's been missing for a year and just over a month, officially a year last month. But her father, Don Wells, releasing a letter from prison this morning, early morning hours, just after midnight is when we got this in. I want to show you what that letter looks like. It's a handwritten letter from jail, a little hard to read, but I'm going to sum it up best I can from what he said in this letter released from the Hawkins County Jail. I want to show you what he's in there for right now, in jail for a DUI charge as we speak. In the letter, Don Wells begging whoever could be responsible to turn his daughter over to the authorities, but of course the TBI repeatedly reporting that there's no evidence to support that family's claim. He specifically addresses the letter to the, quote, persons or person of interest in terms of who he thinks took his daughter. Wells also goes on to talk about how their lives are ruined, how he fears losing everything that he's had. He writes that his wife can't find employment right now. He says the job of 13 years fired him after Summer's disappearance. This letter coming from the Hawkins County Jail, where Don Wells is currently serving a sentence for DUI and violating probation. He's expected to be released sometime in the coming months. Last month, once again marking 1 year since the 5-year-old was reported missing from her Beach Creek home. Since then, there has been hundreds of different agencies across the country coming into Tennessee helping search for her. Thousands of acres of land have been poured over. The TBI has received more than 1,000 tips, but still no hard evidence has been released. Officials say they have not ruled her case is closed. That Amber Alert still remains active in the search for missing Summer Wells. We talked to the TBI today. They said, quote, plainly, we have no updates to provide other than to say the investigation remains active and ongoing. Once again, just want to show you here a picture of Don Wells as that search continues for Summer Wells. Our Erica Lunsford talked to Don, went up there to the Beach Creek community in Hawkins County to get a look at the property. Don going step by step through their property. Take a look. Pretty remarkable video that our Erica Lunsford was able to shoot with Don just a couple of months ago.
And we'd get on them a lot, and so you can't do that, but it just, you know, we'd always find it open a lot of times and stuff, and so we tried to control that, but to know, you know, they couldn't control it 100% of the time.
Don Wells tells me Summer was last seen going to the basement to play with her toys. Her 3 older brothers upstairs, her mother and grandmother in the yard facing away from the basement door, and Don Wells at work.
We don't know if someone was waiting in the basement or if she come outside here and went to the swing. All we know is she went down the basement.
Wells says he believes someone was lurking at the top of a dog trail, just feet away from the basement door. He says the predator somehow managed to snatch Summer, then raced down the steep hill as she struggled.
I guess you guys want to walk down through here?
The trail was not an easy walk. To get down the rugged hill, Wells and I had to hold on to trees. I struggled not to trip or even fall on tree roots.
And you can slide a little bit.
So the dogs kind of came down this trail here?
Yeah.
It's pretty steep.
Yeah. And I didn't know the dogs even had a trail down through here until the police dogs followed it all the way to the road.
Wells says he overheard authorities say search dogs followed Summer's scent down the trail to the road before losing it. He painted a vivid picture of a kidnapping, telling me a neighbor likely heard Summer scream.
I think whoever grabbed her probably had her mouth covered, and I think she was gasping for air by the time she got down through here somewhere, because our neighbor heard a scream, a really funny scream. I think they just carried her to a vehicle and threw her in there and took her somewhere far away from here.
Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson has not publicly commented on specifics of the case until now. I asked Sheriff Lawson about Wells' claims. Did dogs follow Summer's scent down the trail to the main road? The sheriff says yes.
The dogs had a pretty good track for a little while, but then it disappeared, but they lost scent when they come to the road. And sometimes canines they will lose the scent when it changes different type, whether it maybe went from the gravel to the pavement.
And did a neighbor hear a scream?
Best I recall, it's been a couple months ago, I think that was unfounded.
Wells tells me the family home on Ben Hill Road is surrounded by drug dealers and buyers.
You get all kinds, you know, with the drug trade, and we've seen quite a bit of stuff surrounding the meth thing. And we had parked our neighbors caught them parked at our road in our driveway in the middle of the night or early in the morning and stuff like that, and run them off, and they get mad and they raise Cain, and we've had quite a bit of problems.
But Sheriff Lawson tells me Wells lives on a quiet street.
I've heard rumors of, you know, there is maybe a drug dealer on that road, but it's just like anywhere. Ben Hill Road is no different than any other roads in Hawkins, Sullivan, or any other county, as far as even Knox County. We all have drug problems, but no, that's not that problem. That's not correct either.
It's not like a hot spot.
No, it's not a hot spot. I mean, it's a dead-end road, so there's very little traffic, if any.
Don Wells says he doesn't know why anyone would take his daughter, but isn't shocked by the disappearance of a child.
There's a lot of missing children.
But Sheriff Lawson says children don't just go missing, especially in Hawkins County.
No, ma'am, we don't have any other missing children.
At Summer's Hilltop home, Wells showed me a refrigerator he says Summer played on.
I don't know what else she did, but I was like, what in the world is that?
And we walked to Summer's swing.
This is her favorite.
That's her favorite, yes. She liked to twirl.
Don Wells is pleading for his daughter's return.
Whoever has her will have mercy, and please let her come home.
Sheriff Lawson says investigators remain committed to finding Summer.
Everyone in Summer's case is still a suspect.
Once again, this is the latest update we have in the search for Summer Wells. This from the Find Summer Wells website, a letter coming out overnight, just 9 hours ago, around midnight. A letter from Don Wells writing to the person or persons, he says, responsible for kidnapping Summer. I'll make this bigger for you so you can try to get a little better look at it. Handwritten from the Hawkins County Jail, where he is currently serving a sentence for DUI. What it says, once again, a letter to the person or persons responsible for kidnapping Summer. He goes on to talk about how their lives are ruined, how he fears about losing everything. He writes that his wife can't find employment. He says the job of 13 years fired him after Summer's disappearance. Once again, serving a sentence for DUI and violating probation. He is expected to be released in the coming months. Last month, marking 1 year since Summer Wells went missing. So a year and a month since Summer Wells was last seen. The Amber Alert still continues in the search for Summer. We did speak to TBI today. Them telling us that, quote, we have no updates to provide other than to say the investigation remains active and ongoing. If you know anything about the search for Summer Wells, you are urged to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. They've fielded over 1,000 tips so far in just a year and 1 month. Still, nothing credible that they're able to take as hard evidence and continue that search for her or use some kind of lead. But that search remains ongoing. TBI even telling them this, that even Hawkins County deputies saying on a daily basis they're following up on leads, following up on tips, trying to figure out where Summer is. I do want to show you here shortly on our WVLT website. We have links to numerous things, including the TBI Newsroom. Now, the TBI has a full list compiled of questions, anything you can think of. They've got an answer to it here on their website, the TBI Newsroom. We'll link to this over on the WVLT News app. I'll show you where that is in just 1 minute. But it's got everything, every update that you can think of, a timeline of the case. The TBI breaks it down. Is this considered a cold case? No. Investigative work continues. Is an Amber Alert still active? Yes, an Amber Alert still active. When was she last seen? They go down everything. Have you searched the flower bed? There was not a flower bed. They go through all of that. A lot of the questions that we've seen on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, emails that we've seen in the newsroom, a lot of those are answered on this page through the TBI Newsroom. Even shows when they were last searching, places that they went back to once the the overgrowth had died down in the winter, or when it grew back up, other places that they kind of finagled themselves into to figure out how to get there. Here is our WVLT website. On the home page, the father of missing Summer Wells releasing letter for kidnappers. We've got more details, a link to where you can read that handwritten letter from the Hawkins County Jail. You can read it yourself right here. More about things that Summer Wells' family has posted on YouTube, things on the Find Summer Wells website, as well as how you can find this timeline from the TBI, the TBInewsroom.com. We've got a link to that and so much more. It has been 1 year and 1 month since Summer Wells went missing from her home in Hawkins County. And once again, her father, Don Wells, releasing a letter pleading for the person or persons responsible for kidnapping Summer to bring her home, talking about the fear he has of losing everything and how when they took Summer, they ruined an entire family. Once again, Don Wells releasing this from behind bars in the Hawkins County Jail. He pled guilty to a DUI charge.